Are in our series, Why Birds Are Amazing, Beginner Birding, the Joy and Wonders of Watching Birds. My name is Katie. I'm the Volunteer and Community Events Coordinator here at Meewasin. I would like to acknowledge that Meewasin is located on Treaty 6 territory and homeland of the Métis. We humbly acknowledge the traditional caretakers of this land and honor the First Nations of this place. So before I turn it over to Jamie. Jamie is our Meewasin Senior Program and Education Coordinator and will be presenting on the joy and wonders of beginner birding. So I want to also thank RBC Tech for Nature that they have made this whole webinar series possible. Just some quick housekeeping as well. Please use the chat for any questions that you might have. We'll have some time at the end for those questions. This webinar is being recorded and will be shared to the Meewasin YouTube channel and to all of you who've signed up. Please keep your mics muted and cameras off. It'll just help with kind of the bandwidth and overall quality of the recording. So without further ado, Jamie, it's all yours. So thank you.
Okay, and thank you everyone for making the time to be here today to share in the joy of birding. My absolute favorite topic. I love birds, so spring is my favorite season, and hopefully you're all as excited as I am about all of the birds coming back. So as Katie mentioned, my name is Jamie, and I am the Senior Education Programs Coordinator here at Meewasin. And I have been part of the Meewasin team for over 20 years. So I'm very proud of all of the work that Meewasin does. And my journey with birding started here at Meewasin as well when we did a MAPS program out at Beaver Creek Conservation Area. MAP stands for Monitoring Avian Productivity and Survivorship. So we had set up nets and did some banding. And it was a great opportunity for me to learn a whole bunch about birds. That said, I'm definitely not an expert, just a really big enthusiast, and I hope to pass on some of that enthusiasm with you all today and get hopefully some of you started on your joy of birding. Katie did wonderful treaty acknowledgements. I'm just going to move in and chat a little bit. If you're not familiar with Meewasin, I'm going to share a little bit about the Meewasin Valley. So we are a beautiful and unique organization, the caretakers of the River Valley, not the original caretakers. So we definitely honor and humbly acknowledge the traditional caretakers of the land and honor the First Nations and Métis people of this place. So Meewasin was born out of a study that was conducted in and around Saskatoon area in 1978. The result of the study was a 100-year concept plan. It is a beautifully written document. It was designed by Raymond Moriyama. That name might be familiar to some of you as he is a world-renowned architect, and he has designed things like Bata Shoe Museum in Toronto, our National War Museum in Ottawa, and the Embassy in Tokyo. And while every architect's dream is to one day build a cathedral, Moriyama said that his cathedral is Meewasin Valley's 100-year concept plan right here in our own backyard. So he and his team came to Saskatoon and spent the year studying our river valley from air, the land, and the water. And at the very beginning of the plan, he wrote that him and his team couldn't sleep at night because of the extraordinary opportunities that exist in the Meewasin Valley. Since the 100-year plan came to be in 1979, we have gone on to conserve over 6,700 square hectares of land. That's the equivalent of 13,400 football fields if you put it side to side, back to back. And we've increased the number of trails to 107. So we are the largest urban conservation zone in Canada. The 100-year plan is so unique, so forward-thinking today, let alone in 1979, that we've become a framework for cities around the world to learn how they can manage their resources, which is very, very cool. We definitely have some challenges along the way, though. When the 100-year concept plan was developed, it was developed to sustain a total population of 240,000 people in 100 years. So in 2079, they believed we would have 240,000 people living in Saskatoon. Well, we're only 45 years into the plan. We're only halfway there. And currently we have 327,000 residents living within the 15 kilometers of the valley zone. So of course, this puts stress on all of our resources. So we are a nonprofit organization on top of that. So today I want to share with you that one of the great ways to support us is by bird watching, and we're going to get into some of those details a little bit later. All right, so this kind of gives you a little bit of an outline of what we're going to be talking about today. First, I'm just going to share a little bit more about birds, but they're so fascinating, so fun to watch, and so accessible. And that's what I love the most about birding. Every time I hear a bird singing or seeing one fly by, it's that moment of joy and wonder. Birds help us feel connected to nature every day. It's so accessible for everyone and can be done within our city, or you can even get out a bit further in nature to really immerse yourself in it. So many things about birds that captivate humans. They've got bright colors, beautiful songs, they fly, and for many, their ability to soar effortlessly through the sky symbolizes freedom. The behaviors they display, from elaborate courtship dancing to highly coordinated migrations, of course, invite endless curiosity and inspire scientific inquiry into the mysteries of nature. Birds show up in our stories, art, traditions, and often symbols of hope and change. Most importantly, I think that they remind us to stop and to notice the beauty of the world around us. So we're going to start out today with a fun bird quiz, and then we're going to be going on some fun facts about why birds are amazing. We're going to talk about the benefits of birding, 'cause there's so many, and then if you're new to it, just some ways to get into it, and of course, encouraging conservation through birding. So those are going to be kind of the topics. And if we have time at the end, then I have some rapid fire fun facts that I love to share. All right, so a quiz. Let's start with the quiz. Because who doesn't love a test, right? First thing. Of course, this test is just a personal one. We're not sharing our answers. It's just a fun way to see where we are at with our bird journey. So it doesn't matter if you don't know any of these birds or if you know them all. I just think quizzes are a fun way to kind of see where we're at. So there's many ways to ID birds. This one is visual, so we're just looking at some of the pictures. So I'll give you a minute to just kind of check those all out, and then I'll share the answers with you all. Some of these photos I did take. Some of them are not mine. Okay, so we'll go through them slowly. Hopefully you had enough time to have a quick look at those. So number one, we have the northern saw-whet owl. Number two is the cedar waxwing. Number three is the red-winged blackbird. Number four is the great blue heron. Number five is the eastern phoebe. Number six is the downy woodpecker. Number seven is the yellow warbler. Number eight is a common nighthawk. Number nine is a mountain bluebird. Number 10 is a yellow-breasted chat. And number 11 is American redstart. There they all are written so you can see them. How did everybody do? Everyone do okay? Kind of fun. I love quizzes. Okay, so birds are amazing. That's the title of this. So we're going to talk about all the reasons why I think they're amazing. There's so many reasons. Okay, so birds are adapted to flight, so they can fly. So they're built for flight from the inside out. That's amazing. Their bodies have evolved a suite of specialized adaptations that make flying not only possible, but incredibly efficient. So we're going to look at some of the key features that help the birds to take to the skies. So they have lightweight bodies. So they have hollowish bones that are strong but incredibly light, helping reduce the overall weight of their bodies. This makes it easier for them to lift off and to stay in the air. And even their beaks are an adaptation, replacing heavy jawbones and teeth with light keratin-based structures. So bird bones are full of air spaces for air. So they need so much oxygen to fly that their lungs actually extend into their bones. So that's kind of a cool adaptation. So they have high energy systems. Flying is energy intensive. So birds have high metabolic rates and very efficient respiratory and circulatory systems. Their lungs are supported by air sacs that keep a constant flow of air moving through their bodies, supplying them with oxygen even during exhalation. This helps birds fly at high altitudes and over long distances without tiring quickly. They have powerful muscles and wings. Their flight requires serious power, and birds have massive pectoral or chest muscles that account for a large portion of their body mass. These muscles power the wing beats. Their wings are shaped like airfoils, so they're curved on top and flatter on the bottom, allowing air to move faster over the top of the wing and creating lift. Different wing shapes suit different types of flight, so broad wings for soaring, narrow ones for speed, and short rounded wings for quick maneuvering through the forest. They're streamlined in their shape, so they're very aerodynamic. Their bodies are smooth and tapered, reducing drag as they fly through the air. Feathers, which is amazing in itself, lay in overlapping layers to streamline their shape, and their legs are tucked in during flight to reduce resistance. So feathers and tails. Feathers are essential for flight. They provide lift, help with steering, and allow for precision in flight control. Wing feathers are stiff and strong for lift, while tail feathers help with balance and maneuvering, acting almost like a rudder on a plane. All right, so not only can they fly, but they are true masters of flight. So birds are masters of the air, each species showcasing a unique style of flight that reflects its lifestyle, environment, and physical adaptations. From record-breaking speed to delicate hovering and mesmerizing group aerobatics, birds continue to amaze us with what they can do. So if we look at this one large picture of the single bird there, the peregrine falcon, this bird is the fastest animal on Earth. When it goes into a hunting dive called a stoop, it tucks its wings and plummets towards its prey at speeds over 320 kilometers an hour. So that's amazing. It's razor sharp vision, aerodynamic body shape, and powerful wings. The peregrine is an ultimate aerial predator. And then if we look on the other side of the spectrum, we've got this tiny little ruby-throated hummingbird. It is a powerhouse of energy. These birds are the only hummingbird species that breed right here in this area, capable of incredible feats. They beat their wings at about 50 times per second, which allows them to hover in place like a helicopter, fly backwards, and even upside down for a moment during a quick maneuver. And then the bottom photo on this slide shows some starlings, a group of starlings. And there's just this magical starling called murmurations, where they sweep swirling clouds of birds that twist and ripple across the sky in perfect synchrony. So starlings are a little bit different in how they move, so they're experts in coordination. There are thousands of individuals are flying as one, reacting to their closest neighbors in milliseconds. Scientists believe this behavior helps protect them from predators like hawks, as the ever-shifting shape confuses attackers and makes it hard to single out one bird from the flock. All right. And not only can they fly amazing, but they have these incredible migrations, which I'm excited for all the birds coming back for the spring migration. Migration is an awe-inspiring phenomenon. So there's over 400 migratory species in Canada. And in fact, most birds in Canada are migratory. So birds migrate to avoid harsh winters and take advantage of abundant food and breeding opportunities during northern summers. Some newer research even suggests that migration might have developed as response to population pressure in tropical regions where birds venturing north to capitalize on seasonal food surpluses. But how birds know where to go is the most amazing part of bird migrations. Birds don't have phones or GPS, but somehow they travel thousands of kilometers and still find their way to the same places every year. So part of it is instinct. Birds are born with something like a map in their brains. It tells them when to leave and which direction to go. It's like having a built-in compass. Birds are also use things to help them to find their way. So some follow older birds in a flock who know the route. Others watch for landmarks like mountains, rivers, or coastlines. Some birds even use the sun during the day or the stars at night to stay on track. And here's something really wild. Birds can use the Earth's magnetic field. It's kind of like having a natural compass inside their bodies. Others might even smell along a path, like following invisible scent trails in the air. All of these clues help birds to fly incredible distances and return to the same places year after year. Very cool. To prepare for this extremely taxing effort of migration, birds can enter a state of hyperphagia where they bulk up food in the preceding weeks to store fat, and they'll use it on their long journeys. Some birds almost double their weight. The Arctic tern has the longest migration of any bird in the world. So that's the bird that's showing at the top there with a little bit of a diagram showing where they go. They fly more than 71,000 kilometers in a year, making a round trip between their breeding grounds in the Arctic and the Antarctic, where they spend their winters. And over its lifetime of over 30 years, the flights can add up to an equivalent of 3 trips to the moon and back. And then if we look at the bottom of this diagram here, the ruby-throated hummingbird may be tiny, but its migration is incredible. Weighing only about 3 to 4 grams, lighter than a nickel, this bird undertakes a journey that spans thousands of kilometers between North and Central America each year. Some individuals cover nearly 3,200 kilometers between their breeding and winter grounds, stopping along the way to refuel at feeders and flowers. But one of the most astonishing parts of this migration is the nonstop flight across the Gulf of Mexico. For this part of the journey, they fly over 800 kilometers across open water. This may take them 18 to 24 hours, depending on wind conditions. Another amazing aspect, many young hummingbirds migrate without ever taking this journey before. So while some birds learn migration routes from experienced adults, ruby throats rely on instinct to navigate. They can detect these seasonal changes and use the position of the sun, Earth's magnetic field, and even wind patterns to guide them. All right, some birds can sleep while flying. This is a very cool adaptation. Birds have an incredible ability to sleep with one half of their brain awake, a phenomenon known as unihemispheric slow wave sleep. This allows them to rest while staying alert to potential dangers, which is especially useful for birds that migrate long distances or sleep in exposed environments. While one hemisphere of the brain enters a deep sleep, the other remains active, keeping one eye open to monitor surroundings. This adaptation is particularly beneficial for species that can sleep while flying and is for ducks and rest of the groups that have outer edges to keep one eye open to watch for all the predators. This ability to sleep with half of their brain at a time helps birds to balance rest and survival, making them one of the most efficient sleepers in the animal kingdom. Birds don't sweat. So birds are warm-blooded, which enables them to maintain a body temperature of roughly 40 degrees Celsius, regardless of the surrounding heat levels. This key to maintaining a stable temperature is that heat production should be balanced by heat loss. So when the external temperature is high, a bird may elevate the rate of heat loss, by increasing the blood supply to its legs and areas of bare skin, which are served with blood vessels. When the external temperature is close to or rises above body temperature, is very important to dissipate heat in this way. This is when cooling through the evaporation of water becomes important, something humans achieve with sweat glands. But birds do not have sweat glands, but they can evaporate water through their respiratory tract. Watch on a hot summer's day, and you may see a bird panting, or in some species, rapidly moving the floor of its mouth. Behavioral responses such as seeking shade are also important. This is just a fun fact about turkey vultures. They have a unique way to cool off. They can excrete on their feet, and that when they defecate on their legs, it moisturizes the skin, and that moisture can evaporate like sweat does, which cools them. And while we're on the topic of turkey vultures, they do eat dead animals, nature's cleanup crew, but they also have a pretty interesting defense mechanism. When they feel threatened, they vomit on whatever happens to be threatening or harassing them. They can really hurl too, launching their vomit as far as 10 feet. And as you might expect, puking on potential predators is pretty effective at keeping them at bay. Turkey vultures are one of the most well-known animal pukers, but gulls and terns have also been known to engage in the act. This little photo is one of a house wren that I took. Birdsong. Oh, birdsong is one of nature's most beautiful and fascinating phenomena, filling the air with melodies that serve purposes far beyond simple enjoyment. Birds use their songs primarily for communication, whether it's to attract mates or defend territory. Each species has its own unique vocalizations, ranging from the flute-like notes of the thrush to the complex mimicry of a mockingbird. Some birds even have regional dialects, much like human accents, which develop based on the songs they hear in their environment. This incredible diversity in sound highlights both the adaptability and intelligence of birds. The secret behind a bird's ability to sing lies in a specialized vocal organ called the syrinx, located at the base of their trachea. Unlike human chords, the syrinx can produce multiple tones at the same time, allowing some birds to sing two distinct notes simultaneously. This is how birds like the thrush create rich flute-like harmonies. The structure, along with the muscles that control it, determine the complexity of the bird's song. Birds with highly developed syrinx muscles, such as songbirds, are capable of producing incredibly intricate and varied vocalizations. Learning to sing is also a fascinating process. Many birds are not born knowing their songs, but learn them from adults, much like human babies learning language. Young birds listen and practice their species song, refining it over time through repetition. Some species even have different learning phases where they adjust their songs based on social feedback. This ability to learn and modify vocalizations showcases birds' intelligence and adaptability. this behavior is going on right now. So birds can dance. They're truly incredible dancers. While many species use movement as part of their courtship displays, some birds take it to the next level, displaying rhythmic, complex, and even theatrical dances that rival human performances. So one of the best examples is this bird shown here is the sharp-tailed grouse. These birds gather in leks, that's the term for their special dancing grounds, where the males put on a display to impress females. Their dance involves spreading out their wings, lowering their heads, and rapidly stopping their feet in a blur of motion. The sound of their feet hitting the ground, combined with the cooing and clucking calls, creates a hypnotic rhythm. They also puff out their violet-colored throat sacs and shake their tails, adding even a little bit more flair to their performance. What's even more fascinating is these dances aren't random. They're highly coordinated and can last for minutes at a time. Researchers have found that sharp-tailed grouse adjust their tempo and energy depending on their competition and the reactions of the nearby females, proving that their moves are not just instinctual, but adaptive and strategic. This dancing behavior is seen in lots of other species as well. Sandhill cranes, they'll known for their elaborate and synchronized dancing routines. Their courtship involves males and females dancing movements together, such as bowing, jumping, leaping in the air while calling to each other. These coordinated movements help strengthen the bond between the mates. Also a Western grebe. These Western grebe is famous for their beautiful rushing display, often described as a form of synchronized water ballet. During courtship, the male and female perform a series of intricate movements on the water surface. They approach each other, rise up out of the water simultaneously, and then swim side by side while holding a twig or plant in their beaks. This graceful synchronized movement is part of their bonding ritual. And there's a bird known as the common nighthawk. So they don't really traditionally think of it as a dance, but the male will engage in an impressive aerial display during the breeding season, performs a series of dramatic dives and swoops, producing a booming sound with his chest as air passes through specialized feathers. This display is meant to attract females and establish territory. The bald eagle, while a little bit different again in the air, they perform a display called cartwheeling, where two eagles fly together, grasp each other's talons, and then spiral down in the air while locked together. This thrilling display is a sign of strength and partnership again. And of course, birds are intelligent. So ravens and crows are known as being one of the most intelligent birds in the world. Their problem-solving skills, use of tools, and ability to plan for the future rival the cognitive abilities of some primates. These birds have been observed crafting and modifying tools, solving complex puzzles, and even demonstrating an understanding of cause and effect. Their social intelligence is equally impressive. They can deceive, cooperate, and communicate using a range of vocalizations and body language. Crows and ravens also learn from each other, passing on knowledge and adapting creatively to new environments, especially in cities where they use traffic, navigate crosswalks, and exploit human activity to find food. They have excellent memories for storing and retrieving food, and their abilities to navigate using landmarks shows advanced spatial awareness. Some studies even suggest that they may possess emotional intelligence, showing empathy and awareness of others' perspectives. So it's fantastic to be able to watch these birds in action. Birds and ecosystem health. So we know that birds play a vital role in maintaining healthy ecosystems and supporting biodiversity. As pollinators, species like hummingbirds help plants to reproduce by transferring pollen as they feed on nectar. In some regions, certain plants rely entirely on birds for pollination. Birds also aid in seed dispersal by eating fruits and spreading seeds through their droppings, which is essential for forest regeneration and plant diversity. Many birds also act as natural pest controllers, feeding on insects and small animals. This helps protect both wild ecosystems and agricultural crops, reducing the need for harmful pesticides and promoting sustainable farming. Birds also contribute to food webs as both predators and prey, helping regulate animal populations and ensuring ecological balance. Additionally, birds shape habitats. For example, woodpeckers create nesting cavities that benefit other wildlife. Their presence often indicates a healthy environment, while declines in bird populations can signal broader ecological problems like pollution or habitat loss. In all of these ways, birds are key to the health and the resilience of the natural world. But we know that there are so many benefits of birding, in addition to just the joy of knowing how amazing they are. We're going to go through all the different benefits that they can offer to us. So it's more than a hobby. It's really bringing out a range of physical, mental, and social benefits for us. So for physical health, it encourages us to get outside and to get moving. So whether you're walking through a local park or hiking along a forest trail, birding helps improve your cardiovascular health, strengthens your muscles, and keeps you flexible and active. Often when you don't even realize you're exercising, you're just out there and enjoying the birds. It also has a powerful tool for mental and emotional well being. The act of slowing down, tuning into birdsong, and observing nature promotes mindfulness, reduces stress, and lifts your mood. In fact, time spent in nature has been shown to lower anxiety and improve focus and mental clarity. Social connections. Birding also connects people. Many birders join local groups, attend guided walks, or connect through online communities and create meaningful friendships and shared experiences, which we'll touch on later as well. Learning opportunities. There's always something new to learn, from identifying different species and understanding their behaviors to diving into photography or migration patterns. Birding keeps your curiosity sharp and your sense of wonder alive. So if you're new to birding and you want to get started, just going to talk through some quick tips and tricks and how to get into the birding realm. The great thing is you don't have to go far. We have birds everywhere. So birds all throughout our city. We just have to look outside. Great ways to get started is setting up a feeder near your home or a bird bath to attract different species, and then playing around with different types of food and seeing which birds like which food. So that's kind of the most accessible way, where you really don't need much. And then if you don't even do that, you could go for walks in your neighborhood and just watch them naturally in the trees, in the ground, or flying overhead. And then really the only piece of investment that, costs the money is if you want to get binoculars, which I enjoy, so that you can see the birds close up. So choosing a pair that's easy to hold and gives a clear view. You don't need the most expensive ones, just something that helps you to see the details like colors and patterns. If you're like me, my eyes are failing me from time to time, so I really rely on those binoculars to help me ID those birds out there. And then we can use, shown here is a bird guide, the Sibley book. So those are great tools to notice different attributes in a bird and try to figure out who you're seeing. My favorite tool is the Merlin Bird app. If you do not have this app, it is amazing. You can download it for free onto your phone, and it will work in the same way that a guide will. If you could put in, what size the bird is, the shape, and where you saw it, it can spit out birds that fit those physical attributes that you've mentioned. And it'll give you a list of several birds that could be, and then you can, oh, okay, yeah, that's the one it is. It also has the unique feature of being able to record the sound and be able to ID the bird just on its song alone, which turns us all into little bird experts out there when we can use that and have it spit out the birds for us. And the great part is if there's multiple birds singing, you're involved in this wonderful chorus of birds. It highlights which one is singing at that each time, so that you can figure out whose is what. Very, very useful, especially when you travel into areas with birds that you're not as familiar with. It helps you learn them a lot faster than I found with not having that tool. So that's a great, great mechanism to learn birds. I find also keeping a journal is wonderful. Oh, the bluebirds arrived at this time. And then you can also, if you're not sure who it is, you can draw that bird and write it out that way too. And of course, joining bird groups and online communities is a great way to be able to go bird watching with other folks. So the Saskatoon Nature Society is a great suggestion of ways that you can get involved. If you're on Facebook, there's also Sask Birders, which is an online community where if you can't get out that day, like for myself, if I've been busy working, I can go online and find out what birds people have been seeing and share in that joy, as well as the photography aspect of it as well. So bird watching is such a great way to enjoy nature, relax, and learn something new about the world around you. And every time you go, you might see something new. That's the exciting part too. So as a goal, we also want to encourage conservation through birding. So birding is an important way that we can help out with conservation. So by observing and reporting birds, you can help scientists track bird populations, migration patterns, and environmental changes. So here are a couple ways that you can get involved. So eBird is run by the Cornell Lab of Ornithology. It's a global citizen science project where birdwatchers record the birds they see. By submitting your bird sightings, you help scientists study bird populations and migration trends. eBird also gives you a personal bird list and shows you where to find birds in your area. So that's another great way. If you're wondering what's been seen in Saskatoon, you can just type that into eBird, and all the folks who have been submitting their birding observations, you can see what's been seen around the city. You can also participate in Birds Canada projects. So Birds Canada runs many citizen science programs that help protect birds. Some of these projects include Project Feeder Watch, and that's one where you report birds that visit your feeder in the wintertime. There's the Great Backyard Bird Count, a fun weekend event where people around the world count birds. And then the Breeding Bird Atlas helps tracks where birds nest across Canada. So those are just a few examples. So by joining these programs, you're again helping scientists collect important data to protect birds and their habitats. Journey North is an interactive project that lets people report sightings of migrating birds like robins, hummingbirds, and whooping cranes. And it helps scientists understand how climate change and habitat loss are affecting migration. Plus, it's fun to track when birds arrive in different places each year. Why it matters. When you take part in these projects, you're not just watching birds, you're helping protect them. So scientists use the data collected by birdwatchers to help make decisions about conservation, protect habitats, and understand how birds are responding to these environmental changes. So it's more than a hobby. It's a way to connect with nature and to make a difference. So a major study published in 2019 found that North America has lost 3 billion birds since 1970. So that's about 1 in every 4 birds gone. So many common species like sparrows and swallows and blackbirds are now much less common than they used to be. And in Canada, grassland birds, shorebirds, and aerial insectivores, birds that eat flying insects, are among the hardest hit. So we know they're disappearing, and there's several reasons why we know they're in trouble: habitat loss, climate change, pesticides and pollution, collisions with buildings and glass, and predation by cats. So this is showing you 7 simple actions to help birds, easy ways that we can pitch in and help out. So making windows bird safe is an ideal one. So millions of birds die each year flying into windows. So if we use bird safe window film to help birds see the glass, then we can help avoid these collisions. Keeping cats indoors. So cats are a natural hunter, but they kill millions of birds each year unnaturally because there wouldn't be that normal predator number in the environment. So keeping our pet cats indoors helps protect birds, and it also keeps your cat safe too. You can plant native plants. So native plants provide food, shelter, and nesting spots for birds. Plant flowers, shrubs, and trees that attract insects, which many birds rely on for food. Avoiding pesticides. Pesticides and chemicals harm the insects that birds eat and can poison birds directly. So we use natural pest control methods and avoid harmful sprays in our yard. That'll help them out. Providing fresh water. Birds need clean water for drinking and bathing. So you could set up a bird bath or a shallow dish of water in your yard and keep it full and clean. You can support bird conservation efforts. Join or donate to bird conservation groups. Supporting habitat protection helps birds survive. And then, of course, reducing plastic waste. Birds often mistake plastic for food or get tangled in it. So using less plastic, recycling, and cleaning up trash helps keeps our birds safe. Those are some things that we can do. If you are interested in joining different groups, the Nature Society is definitely one that I've mentioned, and going on Facebook and having SAS Birding is a great one. And then Meewasin also offers this tourism event called Birding Breakfast. If you want to do something socially and come on out and kind of have a little event out of birding, this is something that will be running in June 7th, June 8th, and June 14th and 15th from 8:30 to 11, where you come out and you do some birding and also enjoy a breakfast out at the beautiful Beaver Creek Conservation Area. So that's just kind of a fun opportunity to come and learn with other folks. All right, we're ready. We're ready for our rapid fire fast fun facts section. So I'm just going to share lots of other really great stuff about birds. All right, so owls can turn their head 270 degrees. That's pretty cool. Love that. Helps them. So this one's showing the largest bird in the world, which is the ostrich, weighing over 300 pounds. And then the bee hummingbird is the smallest bird in the world, weighing 1.6 grams. So it's really cool to have such diversity in birds. The pelican. Oh, I've heard that they are at Last Mountain Lake, so hopefully they'll be in the Meewasin area soon. The pelican's pouch-like beak can hold 2.5 gallons of water at a time. This beak will shrink to squeeze out the water before the pelican swallows its food. Though it looks like a bird's knee is bending backwards, what is bending backwards is actually the ankle. Below the ankle is the extended foot bone leading to the toes. So a real bird's knee is hidden by the feathers. The black-capped chickadee stores its seed in various locations to return to later, and remarkably, it can remember all of these hiding spots. So each year they refresh their neurons, and they're able to adjust this to help them with their memory. An albatross can soar for as long as 6 hours without moving its wings. The bald eagle builds the largest tree nest of all birds, measuring at about 9.5 feet. The largest nest ever found was 10 feet wide and weighed close to 3 tons. No other living being before birds um, have feathers. So the main function is to help them to fly. So these are living dinosaurs, essentially. They are waterproof and protect them from UV rays and other harmful elements. And of course, as this peacock's demonstrating, they are also a great way to find a mate, prove that they're a healthy bird to mate with. Burrowing owls have many cute quirks. This one kind of stinks. They decorate their front doors with bison and cow poop to attract yummy dung beetles. Thought this one was kind of sad. There are more fake flamingos on Earth than real ones. Songbirds lay 1 egg per day, usually in the morning until the clutch is complete. Common redpolls can tolerate more cold weather than any other songbird. They create snow tunnels up to a foot long and huddle inside to keep warm at night. Male red-winged blackbirds can have 15 mates. And the final is just a fun comic. We don't have cardinals in this area, but it's just a cute comic to show that sometimes we get focused on those new birds that we haven't seen on our life lists, or those rare ones, or the most exotic or pretty ones. But really, all of the birds have something beautiful that they can teach us and are enjoyable to look back and learn about their behavior. So this cute comic just kind of shows that this cardinal in one area, everybody saw them all the time, but when it moved to a different area, they were loved and appreciated. And sometimes that happens here when we have our beautiful magpies. You can tell if someone is from out of town when they come visit us, they're just like, what is this stunning bird? And are so enamored by it. And other folks who see them on the daily, if they've kind of lost their luster. So just a fun reminder that all birds are amazing. And that concludes our wonderful little Joy of Birding webinar today. Thank you so much for participating and tuning in today.
So thank you so much, Jamie, for hosting our 5th webinar. There were a couple questions in the chat. One of them was, which birds should we expect to see around our bird feeders this time of year?
Yeah, it kind of depends where you live. When I have my feeder out right now, I'm seeing the dark-eyed juncos, and I have lots of black-capped chickadees still, but it's pretty quiet at my feeder. Other folks have reported that they are getting some red-winged blackbirds coming in, and they have the pine siskins there, and yeah, it just depends what food source you're putting out and what part of the city you're in. But the great thing that you can always check in on is, if you're curious what people are seeing, going on eBird and seeing what people have posted really helps out, or going on to Sask Birders and finding out with visuals. People post photos all the time on there and what they're seeing. So it's a great way to get involved, even if you haven't been out and about.
Awesome. And I think you've mentioned what kind of bird it is the last couple slides, but there was a question about what bird was on the mental and emotional health slide. It was the blackbird with the orange feathers.
This one?
Yeah,
this beautiful bird is our red-winged blackbird.
Awesome. And then I want to thank Sandra. She posted in the chat, and I'll post a link to the library. The Saskatoon Public Library has birding backpacks that they're free to borrow for a couple of weeks. They include binoculars, bird books, brochures, and all sorts of fun things in there as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jamie, for this great presentation.
My pleasure.
This was awesome. If there is no other questions, that's all for today.